with Canadians not being aware of what potential conflicts of interest you sought to avoid.
What possible conflict would you have, Stephanie? Stephanie, I'm complying with the rules. I'm complying with the rules in advance. Point final.
What possible conflicts? Every possible conflict, and he had no problem lying about it. Just to refresh our memories, let's look back at what Carney had to say to reporters. Before we do, if you could, hit that like button and consider subscribing. I'm trying to reach 2,000 subs, and everyone counts.
The rules say that those assets should be publicly disclosed within 120 days, which means you'll campaign in a coming federal election, most likely within the next 120 days, and are serving as Prime Minister now, with Canadians not being aware of what potential conflicts of interest you sought to avoid.
What possible conflict would you have, Stephanie? Stephanie, I'm complying with the rules. I'm complying with the rules in advance. Point final.
Are you saying you are not open to any conflict of interest?
Yes.
Trump spent most of his life in the private sector. There's no possible conflict of interest in your assets. It's very difficult to believe.
Look inside yourself, Rosemary. I mean, you start from a prior of conflict and ill will. I have served in the private sector. I have stood up for Canada. I have left my roles in the private sector at a time of crisis for our country. I'm complying with all the rules. Your line of questioning is trying to invent new rules. I'm complying with the rules that Parliament has laid out and the responsibilities of the Ethics Commissioner. And I will continue to comply with those rules.
Now, if you voted for this guy, you must be feeling completely embarrassed that you fell for this. It was so clear from his reaction to the reporters that he was hiding things, but the Liberals have this amazing ability not to be able to use common sense. Now, I'm going to use this short clip from the CBC to show about the conflicts.
Well, for months, it's been bubbling.
Mark Carney has failed to come clean with Canadians about his financial interests and his conflicts of interest.
I own nothing but cash and personal real estate.
And now it has blown up.
Well, it turns out while he said that,
I own nothing.
He knowingly owned 574 stocks.
The world is just now getting a closer look at the financial disclosures of Canada's Prime Minister. And while Mark Carney insists he has followed all of the rules, the opposition is accusing him of having lied about his financial interests since before he was even elected.
And this will put him in an impossible position where he will be conflicted at every turn.
So let's explore Mark Carney's money, where it's invested, and how much of what both sides claim about it is actually true.
When you look into Mark Carney's investments and the companies he has ties to, all this green energy, net zero garbage, EV mandates, he has ties to everything he's pushing on us. Every single policy and decision he makes is a conflict of interest, and everything is only benefiting him and the companies he has ties to. He profits while we get wrecked. Now, the Building Canada Act, and I say building lightly.
The One Canadian Economy Act, and particularly the Building Canada Act, what it means, how we bring it to life in the right way. And I think that's the first point I really want to emphasize, is that this act is only a way of starting a conversation and starting a process. And we define that process going forward. But what it could do is enable Canada to build big things that will connect and transform our national economy. Create great careers, not just jobs, but careers for the people that we serve, and provide the resources for health, for education, and social services that our people deserve. It's about giving ourselves more than any foreign government can ever take away. It's about controlling our economic destiny together.
So nothing, absolutely nothing. Like a lot of our bank accounts and retirement funds, there's nothing to be seen. It's only hopes and dreams. And I got this post from Mark Nixon on X. Check out his YouTube channel. He has some great content. Prices at the pumps are going to rise again because of the clean fuel mandate, tripling the ethanol in fuel, higher prices while simultaneously wrecking your engine. Good thing the Liberals came up with the EV mandate, almost like this was planned. Now, a horrible story about an unprovoked attack on a 71-year-old while grocery shopping.
Toronto police just released more details about the 71-year-old woman fatally stabbed this morning in North York. She was attacked in a busy plaza, unprovoked, while loading groceries into her car. That description from police. She was rushed to hospital but died. Mark Carney is on this story, and he's in our Toronto newsroom. Mark, what do we know about this?
Yeah, Ian, this is one of those stories that's just so disturbing for so many reasons. The age of the victim, the way this was carried out, the unprovoked nature of it, according to police. As you mentioned earlier tonight, we learned the identity of the victim in this case. She has been identified as a 71-year-old woman, Shahanas Pastanji of Toronto. As you heard earlier, police say she was simply doing groceries in the north end of the city at a grocery store in the Shepherd Avenue East and Parkway Forest Drive area, if you're familiar with it, if you live in or around Toronto, loading groceries into her car when she was stabbed in what police are saying was an unprovoked attack. They've seen surveillance video, so they saw the things leading up to this. They saw potentially the attack itself. They say that there was nothing to indicate to them that there was any sort of encounter between Pastanji and her attacker or anything like that. They are calling this themselves an unprovoked attack. Keep that in mind for a little later on in this story. Now, first responders did respond to the scene. They provided CPR to Pastanji. They were able to rush her to hospital, but she died there from her injuries. Police understand that the community is very concerned about this case.
This is a very deeply concerning incident. It happened during the daytime hours in a busy plaza. We do not have any information to suggest there's an ongoing threat to public safety at this time. However, we do encourage you to be aware of your surroundings. We are treating these investigations with the utmost of seriousness. Again, this was, appears to be an unprovoked attack.
No threat to public safety. Is this guy kidding? An unprovoked attack and the killer is nowhere to be found. How much longer can things go on like this before the Liberals wake up? What will it take? We arrest people, give them a slap on the wrist, say don't do it again, and release them. I would bet that this guy has multiple convictions and should have never been out on the street in the first place. Luckily, they were able to catch a picture of this scumbag on camera.
Description they put out of the suspect earlier today is that he's described as a male, black, about 5'7" to 5'10", wearing, as you can see in these images, all black clothing and a balaclava. He fled from the scene before police were able to get there, so there was no interaction. They're still actively looking for this suspect now. But again, police continue to say that there is no ongoing threat to public safety. Regardless, they want people in the area to be aware of your surroundings. Do not approach the suspect if you see him. Just call 911 immediately. Ian.
All right, Mark, thank you very much.
And finally, well, Canada crumbles. Carney managed to find some time in his busy schedule to make it to the Ottawa Bluesfest. He got some much needed downtime from doing absolutely nothing since he's become our Prime Minister. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit that like button, consider subscribing, drop a comment below, even if you don't agree with me. I'd love to read all the comments. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.